last week I was given the task of updating our weather drill for if there is a tornado. It was said that this drill is about 4 years old in the format that it is now, and luckily we did find some issues as we were walking through the campus. As far as the main campus, obviously the rooms are limited. There's different teachers in different classrooms for each lunch, but the focus was on when these kids are at lunch, because our lunch is full of glass panel doors and windows. Where will our students go? What classrooms will they be in? How many kids can fit in there? Can we fit about 650 kids into the closest classrooms possible to the cafeteria? For the most part, we'll get them in there, and we'll get as many in the room as possible, and as quickly and as safe as possible. But there were some setbacks, as you will see in the video. Rooms 202, 206, and 208 are rooms that we're moving kids out of, but uh, from the picture that you currently see, we're actually moving kids into from the cafeteria, and these classrooms have windows on the back end of them toward the courtyard, so we cannot place our kids in those classrooms. Uh, but more detail will be given as the video plays on, and also our athletic field house does not have a disaster drill for a tornado. The weight room is completely glass as it looks out on the football field. So we need to make sure we get a document in place that tells everyone where to go and the safest place to go as soon as possible. Our field house is not a big facility, but for us not to have a plan in place, we believed was not okay, and we needed to develop and update a plan. So our goal was to walk the field house and see everywhere that was safe from a weather disaster, as far as us staying inside the building, and where was not, and then video the route from going to an unsafe place, whether it's outside, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's in the indoor turf field, or wherever it is, to a place of safety, and will or will there not be supervision in that particular place. Once this document is drafted, we will then have to shoot it out to the coaches and have a presentation for the coaches to see and understand that here's where we're going. We don't necessarily want to send certain kids back to their locker room. We want to send kids to the nearest safest place. And if the adults are in the building, which there normally always is, for an adult to be there with them, keeping them safe, keeping them calm, and to be able to alert them on what's going on. The difficulty here is not knowing exactly who will be where when at the field house. We have wrestling classes throughout the day. We have tennis classes throughout the day. Uh, Sometimes coaches have kids up there. Sometimes the PE students go up to the track and run and play on the football field. So it's more so about truly alerting everyone where the safe places are. Uh, a document as such as the one on the screen will not necessarily fit the athletic field house, because people will be in competition, they will be at practice, and they will be at different places. They will be coming through at different entry points. But all of this is directed in the video for who we want to go where and how quickly we need to get there. In the first video, we go from the cafeteria to all the classes listed as far as where those students need to go. Uh, I do not have a master key, so I wasn't able to open each door today, but throughout the next week, we will be going inside those classrooms and coming up with a number of exactly how many students will be able to fit in each classroom to get a better accurate count of where students coming from, as far as getting away from a tornado or another national disaster that makes the kids from the upstairs classroom come downstairs and the kids to leave the cafeteria to go into those same classrooms. The next series of videos will be the beginning points of putting a document in place for a tornado disaster drill at the field house. Once we get all of this cleared, we will have drills and we have things to allow the students to practice to get to the safest place possible so we can keep them safe and reunite them with their parents when the time comes.
Also, in updating the tornado disaster drill, we are displacing the kids during third, fourth, and fifth period who are at lunch. So we decided on a number that, let's say we needed to place 650 kids within a classroom or a set of classrooms, obviously. So if we're coming from lunch and we're going to take this left route and not the right one, we would have to come down through the office into the 100, 200, 300, 400 hallway. So here in the 100 hallway, which is where it is quickest to get to, what room numbers we got? 103. I think 102 is on there. They're all locked right now. No, I do not have a master key, but no, just looking through the doors, we just need to. 105. Here's 105. I know that's Mrs. Brevard class. That's a smaller classroom. What else we got? 109. You said 109? Yes, sir. Which for most kids, this will be, you know, obviously it's first come, first serve, but this would be a great route because this is the closest thing to the cafeteria. So we want to get as many kids within these classrooms as possible. Is that all the 100s?
All 100s.
Okay. So taking this same route down to the 200 hallway would be the next thing we need to do, just to ensure the kids are away from any destruction that happens out in the main foyer, if possible. So here's room 204.
201.
There's 202 right there. 203, 201.
201.
Yeah. This is Miss Bolden's room, which is a bigger classroom. These are bigger classrooms. These are our art wings, so they're open. They're just tables. So you can fit a lot of more kids in there because there's not a lot in the way. And they also connect through the backing. So these rooms, we would have to actually pull kids from these rooms because there are windows on the other side. So I'll take it back. If these room numbers are on there, we have to take them out because there are windows on the back end of those leading to the courtyard. 18. So 210? 210 is also a bigger classroom. It's one of our freshman classes. Okay. So make a note that if 208, 206, and 202, if there are kids in those classrooms, we have to factor them into being in the lunch with the lunch kids during the tornado drill because we won't be able to leave them in there. We will have to displace them as well. So we need to talk to Dawn about that.
So if they're in those, they have to get moved.
Yes, we got to move them somewhere, which will factor into what classrooms we use for the rest of the lunch kids. So here are the 300 and 400 hallways. Also, any kid upstairs will come down the stairs until one of these rooms.
Here, green.
Okay. So as we walk down through these hallways, it'll be more of the classrooms that are away from the courtyard because they all have windows. So it'll be all down this left side. Yeah. And then when we get to the 400 hallway, it'll be the classrooms that are adjacent to these. And then it'll go down through this side. So if we move over to the 400 hallway, we need to make sure when we update the plan, we have any of these outside rooms taken off because they all, you can see outside. So it will only need to be rooms on this side of the hallway, which will definitely factor into what we bring. And also we have the lecture halls where we can throw kids to, because there's nothing in that lecture hall. There's no windows. It's up here on the left side for 12 days. So that's just a rough sketch of where we have to take the kids from the lunch period. We have to go back and decide how it's going to fit with the kids directly above. Because naturally they'll come down the stairs and go to the quick classroom. But if we have, 300 kids coming down the 300 hall, they're all trying to get in there. Yeah.
And the people who are already in class.
Yeah, and the people are in class. So, we'll definitely fit as many kids into a room as possible and get them safe and get them down and get them calm. And we also need to figure out just how many kids that we could fit in the classroom in the different small, medium, large style classrooms. Yeah. So we might have to go to a couple classes tomorrow and just put them all together and say, hey, I need all y'all in this room. We know how many we can fit in here. What's realistic and what is not realistic. But the rough sketch of the plan seems pretty well. We're getting them away from the windows, we're getting them on the inside hallways, and we're displacing as many of these students as possible. And also, we have the theater rooms and the choir rooms and the auditorium here as well on this other side. Those places have kids and have a lot of kids depending on the day, and they always have activities. So if we don't have to use them for any of the other classes, those are larger spaces, if it isn't busy in those rooms to place the kids. What gets kind of dangerous is the choir room is next to an exit and the auditorium is next to an exit. So if we're trying to rush kids that way, then, it may cause a problem.
Oh, yes.
If those guys break.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Then,
So we really wouldn't want. This is. This will be a no-go because of the windows. There's no separate room, so if we have any kids in here, we have to make sure we put it in the plan to take them out of here and move them to the next room. The head coach's office also has windows leading to outside as well as the conference room. Let's check the team meeting room. The team meeting room should be good and hold a significant amount of kids. If we have an overload, but sometimes we have two big teams at a time. I wouldn't trust those pipes, so we wouldn't do that. This is one of our film rooms. We should be good, no windows leading to outside. So that'll work. Here's another video room. Smaller room, but will work. Will work also. We stay out of there due to the chemicals. Here we have the turf room. We would have to bring kids out of here. Just because we don't trust those doors. So we would bring these kids out of here and we can take some to the team room and to these video rooms right here. Depending on how many students that we had. On a game day or something, we might be able to utilize these storage rooms if we had overflow. But, I mean, it may not be necessary. I think the only way we'd have that many kids is if it was a game day, which, you know, we do everything we could to help other teams as well. This be a good room, pack some kids.
Yes.
One of the coach's office. And we have some locker rooms. But for the most part, we'd be pretty good. Once you get into these rooms or the locker room doors, there are a lot of actual locker rooms on the women's side. That we can get kids into. So anyone coming from the weight room, we have a significant amount of locker room space back here. As you can see, we need to make sure we count these rooms. So that's 1, 2. Oh yeah, that coach's just room. We check that out. Here is tennis, which is a smaller space, but still it'll be good because they have class throughout the day. Tennis has different periods, so this is another room that would be good.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side.
4, okay. And then we can check this coach's office or dressing room. I didn't know this was in here. And this is good. Well, it's because
I think it looks secure.
it is. This is the women's side, so no male coaches come back here. And I think total we only have maybe 3 women coaches in our entire school. So a lot of our guys coach women's sports. Yeah. So we think that locker room probably never gets used. Here is the wrestling room, which is another nice space. Wish I could turn the flash on. But that'd be a nice place. Might get hot though, because they have that heater running. When you get a lot of people in there, it gets to heating up. I'm gonna check and see if this light works. No, I must have to have a key to turn on the light, but that is the wrestling room. And big space, a lot of people.
It's a great room.
Yeah. And these are some smaller storage rooms. They won't suffice because there's a lot of equipment in there. And here is the weight room, which is the danger zone. All glass. So normally we will only have enough kids that they can all fit in the wrestling room. So if we're having a disaster, we can take these kids straight into the wrestling room.
Directly.
Now,
Or storage rooms?
huh?
Or storage
Or the storage rooms, if we have an overflow. The problem may be is if all of the wrestling kids are at wrestling practice at that time. And they practice in the morning and afternoon, and they have third and like sixth period. So depending on the time of day, it might get crowded in there. But we also have male locker rooms on this side that we're about to walk through and check out. Coming through from this way is obviously a gateway from the field in case anyone was outside. Here is the coach's office. And here is the varsity locker room, which would definitely be a secure place. There's a door leading outside, but it's two doors, so they should be fine, and it's a nice space. Coming down, we have the freshman coach's office, which also should suffice. That leads to the other locker room. And then we have another dressing area here that should be good, which also has a door leading outside, but it's double doored, so we should be fine.
This is JV locker room?
Yeah, that's the locker room. Here is, we have two locker rooms on this side. Just stay fairly empty throughout the day because these are wrestling kids who aren't in another sport, which is very few, and I think some baseball kids come back here. But they can go from the building to the baseball field, but that's closer, so we don't get a lot of them out here. So most of them just change down there or change in the bathroom just because it'll save them a walk. And this is our last big dressing room, which is on the freshman side of the field, which also has a door leading outside for practice purposes, but it's double doored, so we should be fine for a lot of people in here, just like the varsity locker room. So now that we figured out where it's good to take kids, we need to go ahead and put a plan into place to where we want them to go, to when something happens. So we need to document the routes. How you doing?
It's a lot of rooms.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah. So we need to be assured, that when we get a call or we get radioed, we know, okay, if they were in this area, where are they going? And exactly why they are going there. So nonetheless, we can start at the front of the building and then move to the next area. Tornado.
Oh, no. Oh, ankle. Where we going? Over
So
here?
we will go out this door into the team meeting room. And we probably want to get next to that back corner to the left. And that's the route that we would want the kids to take. And to sit down as we just secured whatever we need to do. Every kid that comes out of either the team meeting room with the coach or the training room with the coach, Coach Bodie, if he's in his office, should meet them in the team meeting room. So there would never, and the athletic trainer, so there would never be a kid. So throughout the school day, we have kids coming down from this building all the way down to the school building. So if we had to rush them inside, we would need them to take the path straight to our film room. That way, it's quick, it's efficient. Be the next one. It's quick, it's efficient, and we get them to safety as quick as possible with the room without any windows. Kids come in this way from the school building and also from the practice field. So all guys will immediately take this left and be safe in one of the dressing rooms that are open. So we have a multitude of dressing rooms with no windows to where the kids will be safe down this building. Disaster during the weight room session, our kids will come out of the weight room and go directly into the wrestling match or the wrestling room. If you happen to be on the practice field or coming through, entering through this way of the building, we'll direct all kids into the male side, which is the JV and the varsity locker rooms this way. And you could either go into the coach's office or the varsity or JV locker room down on the end, which all are secure places. This is a direct entrance from our technology building. And as we come in, we would go left into the freshman locker rooms, which would be the quickest point to safety. We would probably need a adult there, you know, checking to see the kids and what. There's the coach's office again, and the freshman locker room is really good. And like I said, they will be secure, and the locker room can hold a lot of people. So if we're coming from the indoor turf field, we would want to direct teams with a significant amount of players to the freshman locker room also. campus. This one to the left, the other one on the straight ahead. Or either coach's office. As I did with the first video, I will relate this one back to our Texas principal competencies. And obviously, competency 9 speaks to having a safe environment or providing a safe environment for all of our students, and is the initial step for campus trust in our campus community. Our parents need to feel safe sending their kids to us, and our kids need to feel safe and at home when they're with us. So for me to have the opportunity to assure safety, update safety, and create a safety plan for our athletic field house, which we have kids coming and going throughout the entire day, was a great activity for me to understand how that would project into doing that for a campus or a new campus. I enjoyed it.